What's up, dudes? It's guided by Lee. It is. Oh, damn, I don't have my watch on. It's December 3rd, 10:09 a.m. It's freezing outside. It snowed yesterday. So I can't be out fishing. I mean, I could, but I was out there yesterday and really no action. But I only went out for a second just to test out some knob upgrades that I did to my reels. But today in this video, we're going to talk about 4 of my favorite surf casting reels and a new addition, well, 2 new additions to those reels. So here we have a Sustain C5000 XG FI, and what I did with the Sustain is I removed the knob that it came with. I felt like that knob was too small in my hand, and you know, every once in a while in a good hook set or a good fish or in some type of excitement, my hand would slip. So, what the hell just happened? My GoPro just did something crazy. So my hand would slip. So I ended up removing that knob, getting a 41mm Gomexus EVA knob that's not made for this reel, FYI. So if you're going to change the knob on your Sustain to something this big so that it feels a little more comfortable in your hands, if you have, you know, decent sized hands or big hands like mine, you're gonna have to drill out that rivet. Make sure when you do drill it out, you vise this part down with some duct tape. Coat this so that you don't mar the finish like I did. Yeah, so vice grip it down. Get a smaller drill bit. There's already someone already punched a small hole into my rivet, so getting my drill bit not to drift was pretty easy. But get a small drill bit and drill through and increase diameters, you know, as you go along. Don't just go from a small drill bit to some drill bit that you think is the size of the shaft here, because you'll probably make a angled opening, which is going to affect the way your knob sits. How do I know all this crap? Because I did it. Also, if you're going to be doing a Gomexus upgrade on any of your reels, please do not put Loctite on this screw, because when you go to remove that screw, it will not come out. You're going to strip this. You're going to have to drill it and tap it just so you can unscrew this little cap to get to the inside of this knob. How do I know that? Because I've done it multiple times. So anyway, better knob, feels much better on this Sustain FI. I love this reel. I have to actually send it to get serviced to have this thing tightened and have my line roller bearing replaced. I could just order the pieces and do it, but this reel went under a few times, so I'm pretty sure that the internals have some salt in there. They have to be replaced. So great reel. This is one of the reels I was using last year from the surf. Saw a bunch of bass. This reel saw a redfish up here up north, which is rare. So whoops. So I love this reel. Talk about that reel, then we'll talk about the new one that I got, the FL Stratic. Very light reel in comparison to the Sustain FI. Also very, very, very smooth. If you need a video that's going to give you all the fancy updates and bearings and all the other crap that this reel has, check out Tackle Advisors on YouTube. He does really in-depth, detailed videos. He actually breaks these things down and shows you what they've done. From a visual standpoint, they've changed the drag stack adjustment top, so it doesn't look like the FKs, which I actually like a lot. Can you see that? Yeah. So I like the FKs. FLs is cute, but doesn't like the FKs. I like the FKs. Looks more advanced, more futuristic. Still has that little knob on there. This is what the Sustain had on there. Replaced it with that heavy-duty 41mm knob. and it feels just much better in my hand. But this reel is so damn smooth, and I got it for 180 bucks with line. Looks like they eliminated some junk off the rotor. Looks like they made the spool a little bit taller. And I think they changed the line roller bearing assembly. So now if you needed to update or change your bearing, you don't have to get the whole entire assembly. You can just buy the bearing and change it. So I can't wait to use this. I'm gonna match it with my my St. Croix Avid. Probably won't use this on the surf, but I had this on the boat before I took the boat out of the water, and this is a badass rod. Love it. Very, very light, very easy to hold and grip, and this thing saw a few fish. Made a video about it, but I ended up deleting it for God knows what reason. But yeah, let's talk about the FK real quick. This is a C5000XG FK. Changed the knob on this as well. Drilled through the rivets because the egg knob, although the shaft is the size for this knob, the screws didn't fit. So in my constant rush, which is how I am all the time, I ended up just drilling it out, which I'm pretty sure I could have popped this knob right on there and it would have fit perfectly with no issues. But even though I drilled the rivet out, it's still pretty solid in there. There is a little teeny tiny bit of play in there that I probably could have eliminated with a shim. So maybe in the future I'll go and take it apart again and do it right. But love this reel. Just put some 20-pound braid on here. I have a bunch. I have this paired up to a Tsunami 11-foot rod. So I just keep this rod handy in case one of my other reels takes a dump on me. But the real reel that I want to talk about is this one. This is an ULTEGRA CI4 5500 XTC with an upgraded Gomexus 41mm knob. I freaking love this reel. Great reel. Great surf casting reel. I cast super far with this reel. I have it matched to a Shimano 10.6 Tiralejo rod that's specifically designed for this reel. Why the air quotes? Because I had my other XTD matched to a Tsunami rod, and although I didn't get any wind knots, I was still casting far. You notice the difference when you put on the Shimano Tiralejo rod that's made specifically for this reel. When I first purchased this reel, it was very, very smooth. I've only had it for about maybe 2 months now. Maybe less than that, maybe a month and a half. This reel has seen about 300 fish. And now it's a little bit, it's not as smooth as it used to be. Also because it's gotten splashed by a bajillion waves and dunked partially. And it has had a bunch of like fish goo on the wheel bearing and on the drag adjustment, etc. But really good rod, really good reel, really great casting, very slow retrieve, which is very good if you're out there in the surf trying to really target finicky bass. I noticed that the slow retrieve speed has helped me keep my lure in the strike zone longer, and it's kind of put a brake on my rush to reel in or my rush to get my lure in. The slower speed definitely has helped me catch more fish. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, well, why don't you just retrieve slower? I don't know what it is, but while I'm reeling and it's coming in slower and I'm doing jigging motions on a bucktail or on soft plastics, the slower retrieve speed definitely helps keep that lure in the strike zone, and it also makes it look a lot more natural. I have 20-pound Power Pro Onyx Super Slick braid on here. I also have a spool capacity adjuster beneath this. I tried to spin this up with 300 yards of 20-pound braid, and although it all fit, I felt like there was too much of a gap here, so I ended up putting that line on another spool, putting the spool capacity cap on made it a 3500, then put, I think, 250 yards of line on here, which in retrospect it was dumb to do, but I did it. Also, this knob, my first knob, last week had some play, and I tried to take it off like I was telling you previously, and I couldn't. So I ended up having to drill that out, and I ruined the knob. So I got a new knob and just tapped the rivet out and drilled it through. But I ordered a new knob handle assembly, so once that new handle assembly comes, I'll put the knob back. But great reel. If you have 320 bucks or so laying around and you want to cast further than everyone else out there, go get this reel. Don't listen to what people are saying about the reviews. A lot of guys are saying, oh, my bail wire is very flimsy and it's gonna break. I mean, if you're just a brute with your reels and your gear overall, then yeah, you're gonna break stuff. But I'm pretty delicate with my stuff. I take care of it. Never spray it down with water. I wipe it down with a spray bottle of water and a rag. Also clamp this all the way down when you're going to spray it with anything, just to avoid any further water from getting inside. And every once in a while I'll remove the spool and clean the shaft and add some grease and stuff like that. But very good reel. It's heavier than my other surf reels, which can hurt your wrists and your forearms at times. But in terms of casting distance and slow retrieve, and the strength of the drag on this thing is OD. What I don't like is that it's, the the increments are so quick that if you make any small adjustments, it's already locking in. So just be careful